Muddled up, I just did it again.
Yes, it's not there.
Huh?
The live stream information link came. The first one.
First one didn't come. Hare Krishna. My Dandavat pranams to everybody. Haribol, Haribol. I hope this is happening properly. Maybe Sachi can just tell me if the live stream is happening or not. Rasamandri, is the live stream happening?
Maybe the light has gone, so
Wait a minute, I have to start it again.
yes, it's there.
It's there.
Yes, it's there. You are on live.
But I have to do the YouTube again. I have to do the Facebook again. I have to go with Facebook out. I think we're on live now.
We are able to see.
Okay. So just a second. We just had a little hitch here. Okay, now we have the Facebook Live as well. Okay, my Dandavat pranams again to everybody. Today, Wednesday, Ekadashi, and 31st of July, and we're speaking from Radha Kund, and it's very hot here. We just had some rain, which is very beautiful. So we'll have a kirtan, and then we'll begin our reading straight away. So we'll sing Radha Kund Tata, being as we're here in Radha Kund. Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Kutira Govardhana Parvata Yamuna Tira Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Kutira Govardhana Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Kutira Govardhana Parvata Kusuma Sarovara Manasaganga Manasaganga Kalindanandini Vipulatadanga Kalindanandini Vamshiva Gopula Veera Samira Vamshiva Vrindavana mriga kola malaya batasa kula malaya batasa mayura pramara murali vilasa mayura Venu Shringapada Chinna Megamala Venu Shringapada Chinna Megamala Vashanta Sashanka Shankakaratala Vasanta Sashanka Yugala Vinase Anukula Jani Se Anukula Jani Lila Vilase Muji Pakamani Lila Vilase कहीं नहीं जाओ ये सब छोड़त कर न हराओ ये सब छोड़त कर न हराओ भक्ति विनोदा कहे सुन खाना Giridhari. Radha Govinda Ji ki Jai. Jai Nityananda Rai ki Jai. Sachinandana Gaurahari ki Jai. Jai Radha Kund ki Jai. Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tadasara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tadasara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tadasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tadasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudi Acharya ki Jai. Jai Rasik Siromani Srila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shri Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu's ki Jai. Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gauda Parsada ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Parsada ki Jai. Jai Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gauda Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautamdvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritudvip Janadvip Mautamdvip Rududvip Apaganavadvip Dham ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dwarasa Vadmartmika Shri Brajamandal ki Jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ganga Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani ki Jai. Shrimati Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi Maharani ki Jai. Shri Gopishwa Mahadev ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra ki Jai. Ketra Mandal ki Jai. Sarva Vigna Vinasa Karishina Shingadev Bhagavan ki Jai. Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai. Charidam ki Jai. Chari Sampradaya ki Jai. Chari Acharya ki Jai. Akara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat ki Jai. Shri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat ki Jai. Shri Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Samagata Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Gauda Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Adina Tindarandasya Gyanam Jala Shalakaya Chakshu Undalitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurave Gauda Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadavaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadam Tikam Priya Swarupe Daita Swarupe Prema Swarupe Sahaja Rupe Nijana Rupe Papuva Rupe Katana Rupe Swadala Swarupe Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavaritinokala Samarapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Svabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundarata Tikatam Vasatipita Sada Hridare Kavare Spadatu Vasachinandanaha Yam Pravajantamana Petyama Petyam Vaipaino Viraha Katara Ujuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Taravoginegustam Sarvadutam Munim Vivimanatosmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparara Lakshay Shittascha Dharmadi Taranga Madhye Ripamaitvam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanada Vrindam Vajami Radham Aravinda Nekram Smarami Radham Madhurashmitasya Vadami Radham Karuna Bhagatam Tato Manastikatina Kapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Ratri Kramnaya Mancharantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandara pranams unto the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev, Nitya Leela, Pravishta Om, Asto Tarzarashi Shimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again to our dear most Namo Bhakti, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Iti Namini. And again to our dear most Namo Bhakti Vinodaya, Satchidananda Namine, Gauda Shakti Swarabhaya, Rupanuga Varayate. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, and all our illustrious Rupanuga, Guru Varga, and all the assembled Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. So we're very fortunate to be in the middle of a torrential rain in Radhakund today. It's been very, very hot here, so the rain is very, very welcome. Actually, always when it rains in Vrindavan, it's welcome. Anytime, it's always good. So we're coming to our Falshruti and the last 4 verses today.
Jaiva dharma pateshe shura bhakti hoy. Jaiva dharma na padile kabil bhakti noy.
One who reads Jaiva Dhamma with faithful deliberation will surely attain Shuddha Bhakti. But one who does not read Jaiva Dhamma can never attain Bhakti. The sound is clear. There's no more lights, huh?
Rupa nuga abhiman patitrita hoy. Jaiva dhamma vimukake dharma hine koy.
Faithfully reading Jaiva Dhamma will surely strengthen one's abhiman as a Rupa Nuga, follower of Sri Rupa Goswami. One who is averse to reading Jaiva Dhamma is certainly devoid of religious principles. So we've spoken many times, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur is always referencing Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. Rupa Goswami Pad is the one who is taking the instruction, the shiksha, from Sachinandan Gaurahari, and he's giving it back to the world, especially in the form of this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and this Ujjvala Nilamani. So we are Rupanuga, Raganugas. A Raganuga is someone who is following Rag Bhakti, and we are Rupa Nugas because we are following Rupa Goswami. But there are those who are not Rupa Nugas but are Raganugas. For example, Swarup Damodar is not a Rupa Nuga, and Rai Ramananda is not a Rupa Nuga. They are Raganugas. So we should know carefully the distinction. And a Ragatmika is the one that we are following. Their Atma is soaked in Rag. So we are following that Ragatmika.
You need to make it more louder. Because of the rains, the sound is not so clear.
Okay, so I'll try and speak a little louder.
Java jivane je pade jaiva dharma. Bhakti man se janabrita jnana karma.
One who faithfully reads Jaiva Dhamma throughout his entire life will be endowed with bhakti and will surely realize the futility of jnana and karma. So jnana and karma will support our bhakti, but they're not directly going to give us bhakti. If we take the jnana in the sense of this tat padartha jnana and tvam padartha jnana, then we're on track. But if we take this Jiva Brahm Aikya Gyan, this knowledge of impersonal Brahm, then it has no support for our bhakti.
Krishna ramala seva labhisenara. Seva sukhi magnara sara Krishna para.
Such a man, being fully devoted to Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yugal Kishore, and having attained their Amol Prem Seva, remains forever merged in the bliss of such immaculate, loving service. So I hope you can hear me all right. Perhaps someone will send a message. If Sachi's there, she can send a message from the US and let me know if you're hearing sufficiently. So, okay, so now we've come to our subject for today, our chapter 34, and we're on page 706, and we're going through the different activities of the rival party. We've been speaking about the Vipaksh and going through the different emotions and qualities that are expressed in different ways by the Vikash Paksh. And I'll just continue reading from the top of page 706 and can... It's clear?
Sufficient but less clear.
Okay. So we're going to start reading on the page, top of page 706. So what is the purport of Abhiman here? Abhiman means identity. So Goswami, using expressive moods and postures to show the superiority of one's own party's prem is called Abhiman, ostentatiousness. So we gave some examples yesterday, how the different Sakis in their different groups, they will be supporting their Yuteshwari, either Shri Radhika or Chandravali. And this will create the dynamic of rivalry, which leads to a competitive mood in their prem. And this is most welcomed in Braj. And I was explaining yesterday how there's not a drop, even a smell of envy. Because if we see this type of dynamic in the material world, it's usually backed by an envious mentality. Competition is usually having envy behind it. But in the spiritual world, it's all ultimately only for the Lord's pleasure. So all of this is being orchestrated by Purnamasi Devi and Brinda Devi for the pleasure of Krishna. So the Vipaksh party, they are completely for the pleasure of Krishna. Without Chandravali, how can Radhika express her man? Her man won't manifest if Chandravali's party is not there. So Chandravali herself cannot go into man. We explained this yesterday, because Krishna's love is not so strong, and Chandravali knows that. If Chandravali goes into man, perhaps she will stay there for a long time and no, Krishna won't come. So we understand like this. Vijay, what is darpa? Goswami, darpa, smugness, is the pride that indicates the superiority of one's enjoyment of pastimes. Vijay, what is udasita, arrogance? Goswami, udasita is directly laughing at the rival party. Vijay, what is mada? Goswami, in the context mada, conceit is the pride that enhances the excellence of seva and so on. So conceit is there. Vijay, what is odhatya? Goswami, odhatya, haughtiness, is openly declaring one's own superiority. The Sakis' double-edged taunting and depreciation of others are examples of this kind of garva. So this mood is there. All of these we have in the material realm, but as I say, they're all backed by envy, whereas the contrast in the spiritual world is that there's no envy, and we can't even imagine this. The conditioned soul, all we can simply do is hear these descriptions and pray for the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas to understand something, or to have some awareness of this. Vijay, do the Yuteshwaris also directly exhibit jealousy? So the Yuteshwaris, that's Radha and Chandravali in this case. Goswami, no. The Yuteshwaris are very grave, and they do not directly manifest spite towards the rival party. Besides, even a Saki who is prakara will not speak about trivial things in the presence of Vipaksh Yuteshwaris. So they're very grave, the Yuteshwaris. Vijay, Prabhu, the Yuteshwaris in Braj Leela are eternally perfect, Sakis of Bhagavan. What is the significance of the existence of barbs such as their mutual enmity? When the worldly logicians and empiricists who are averse to Krishna see all this, they disrespect the transcendental principle of Braj Leela and ridicule it. So we read this yesterday. We read this through. This is the build-up to the answer that Goswami is going to give. So people will criticize this because they will be seeing through the eyes of envy, like a logician or an empiricist. They will be seeing through this lens of envy. So obviously they will condemn these pastimes and leelas. They say that if there is malice and so on in the Paramatattva, then why condemn enmity in the activities of this material world? So if there are these conflicts in the spiritual world, why should we be depreciating these conflicts in the material world? Understand? What is the point of celebrating such activities? We reside in Sridham Navadvip, where by Krishna Chaitanya Dev's will, one can find all kinds of materialistic people. Some are staunch followers of Karmakant, and most of them are offenders who find fault in Krishna's pastimes. They disregard this unique transcendental Leela, thinking that it is a product of Maya. Kindly be merciful to me and clarify this subject, so that my heart can be steadfast in the face of such remarks. So this is the place actually we reached yesterday. We're going to answer this question now. Goswami. Only those who are completely bereft of rasa say that it is improper for the dear bhaktas of Hari to express sentiments such as hostility. I'll read that again just to be clear. Only those who are completely bereft of ras say that it is improper for the dear bhaktas of Hari to express sentiments such as hostility. If we reflect deeply in this matter, we find that Krishna destroys sins and also enchants millions of Kamadevs. His Priya Nam Saka, Sringara Ras himself, reigns splendidly, fully manifest in Braj. It is this Ras alone who, in order to satisfy Krishna, incites jealousy and all its related sentiments among the rival groups, egotism. So Krishna's Sringara Ras itself is inciting these moods to enhance the Ras. Because when we read, for example, about the Sanchari Bhavs, the Vyabhachari Bhavs, they seem to be very negative in a sense, if we look at them from the material point. But from the spiritual point of view, they're most relishable. However, in reality, there is no jealousy between them, because they all want Krishna's pleasure. All the different camps of gopis, they all want Krishna's pleasure. Their apparently inimical moods are nothing but a transformation of affection. So it's very hard to understand sometimes when we read about the different pastimes between Chandravali and Radhika, how sometimes it seems very negative towards each other. But actually this is all inspired by Krishna's Leela Shakti to increase the competitive mood between the Sakhis, which will increase the prem of the gopis themselves. Vijay, Prabhu, I am an insignificant creature, and such esoteric subjects do not arise within my heart easily. Please bestow your grace upon me by explaining this matter so explicitly that I may easily understand it and become blessed. So it's not an easy subject to understand. So Vijay is asking that it be discussed again. Oh, is that water coming in? Big rain here. Very nice. Goswami, this is the rain of Prem Amlita. What's that? shower.
Prem
Huh?
Varsha.
Prem Varsha, yes, is another word also. I think of it. Goswami. Prem Ras is like the ocean of milk, which becomes unpalatable when it is mixed with the cow urine of logic and arguments. So this logic and argument is when someone is trying to analyze from a material point of view the activities of the Brajramanis in their various rivalry groups, because we've been discussing the different groups, the Svapaksh and the Vipaksh, and the Surit and the Tatashta, and what are the dynamics between them. So from the material point of view, from the logical point of view, it appears like a negative quality. This is what's been explained. If it's mixed with the cow urine of logic and arguments, it is not appropriate to apply philosophical considerations of tattva in the context of prem ras. Prem ras is achintya, inconceivable, chamatkar. It's astonishing, astounding. It can't be logically approached. If we're trying to, that's why Vaidhi Bhakti is a separate path. Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga are separate paths. The Vaidhi Marg, you can hold your logic and rationale. But on the path of the spontaneous mood of Rag Marg, then it's not possible. On the one hand, Bhakti Devi bestows the illumination of Chit and Hladini in the hearts of the sadhaks who have accumulated a vast amount of Sukriti, so that they can realize the essence of all Siddhanta without the assistance of any logic at all. You have to actually be very brave, in a sense, to go into the kingdom of Ras, because there's no material support that we might have built through our lives in the realm of logic or reason. You might be very intelligent materially, but that has no strength in the world of Ras. On the other hand, these inconceivable conclusions do not awaken at all in the hearts of those who want to comprehend Siddhanta through mundane logic, argument, and worldly scholarship. The application of false and misguided logic, kutarka, only gives rise to more kutarka. However, you are an extremely fortunate jiva. By Bhakti Devi's mercy, you have already understood everything, but you are still inquiring from me for the sake of fortifying your understanding of Siddhanta. I will certainly inform you of these principles. You are not a logician or a follower of Karma Kand or Gyan Kand, and neither are you excessively devoted to Vaidhi Bhakti or self-restraint through rules and regulations. There is no objection to my telling you about any Siddhanta, so therefore the sadhak should not be overly rejecting Vaidhi Bhakti. We understand what are the rules and regulations, and we have to apply them in our external life, but we're not overly attached to them. That's not the principal focus. Our principal focus is to utilize our understanding to enter into Vrindavan fully, enter into that realm of Radha and Krishna. And there, praying. There are two types of inquisitive people. One makes inquiries after having taken shelter of dry logic, whereas the other, who has confidence in the existence of bhakti, can be satisfied by its svata siddhi, self-evident ideals. You should never reply to the questions of dry logicians, because they will never have faith in genuine explanations of the truth. Their power of reason is confined to the realm of Maya, so they are lame in relation to the achintya bhavs. Without this achintya bhav, then nothing will transpire. Their intelligence cannot even begin to enter the achintya subject matter, no matter how strenuously they agitate their minds. Ultimately, mental speculation only diminishes whatever feeble trace of conviction one has in Ishvara. Those who accept the party of Bhakti Paksh, the devotional viewpoint, are divided into many types according to their eligibility, even amongst those who have attained a Sadguru. Only those who have achieved the Adhikar or Sringara Ras can understand this confidential tattva. So that was a very incredible explanation there. Actually, will have to be read many times to appreciate it deeply. But there is no room in the spiritual approach for logic or reasoning, because it's completely achintya. This is why I'm constantly saying to try to appreciate these topics, not to understand them. To understand means my mind has to be satisfied, but the mind is not familiar with so many of the topics. So the mind is going to be confused or not satisfied. So if there is enthusiasm and if there is patience, then Krishna will benedict the consciousness to appreciate these topics. Simply to appreciate, and slowly, gradually in time, they will manifest their full blossoming beauty within the consciousness. 100%. Vijay, what an unprecedented rasa this Brajalila is. It appears to be the same principle as the mundane Sringara Ras of this world, but actually it is completely the opposite. It has been stated in the Rasa Panchadiya, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33. Actually, this is a mistake here. There's only 39 verses in this chapter, so we have to make a correction. It's verse 39. It's referring to the word Vikriditam, the verse Vikriditam Brajavaduvi Itam Cha Vishnu, Shadan Vishnu, Nushunyat Artha Varanyanya, Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Pratilabhya Karmam, Hridrogam Masav Akinoti Acharena Tira. This is the last verse in the Rasa Panchadiya, when Shukadev is explaining to Parikshit how one must hear these topics. And just simply by hearing these topics, then bhakti will arise in the heart. That the heart disease of those who study this lila is vanquished, this hitrogam, this bhakti will arise. What is the heart disease of the conditioned soul? Material lust. This lust naturally arises in those who identify themselves with a male or female body composed of 7 dhatus, such as flesh and blood, and who take shelter of the subtle body by accepting an identity consisting of desires pertaining to the mind. So if our minds are preoccupied in material activities and we're relating to the gross material body, then we're going to be subjected to the attraction of the material energy to enjoy it in one form or another, grossly attracted or subtly attracted. So this is all in the realm of lust. So if lust is there, then this is the disease that we're trying to purify. Subtle body by accepting an identity consisting of desires pertaining to the mind, intelligence, and false ego. Nothing has the power to remove this lust easily. It can only be dispelled by continuous cultivation of endeavors and moods in pursuit of Braj Leela. So only by hearing about these pastimes of Radha and Krishna, this is what this verse is saying, Vikriti tam brajavadubi itam ja Vishnu, that one must hear these pastimes, and then that will eradicate this hridroga, this disease of the heart, which is lust. That disease was there from the very beginning. We were attracted to becoming the enjoyers in this world. So this whole consciousness has to be turned around to be inspired towards the spiritual realm. So Sadguru is that person who will inspire our hearts towards that realm. Because we have to be absolutely confident of the reality of this realm. It's that confidence that Sadguru can give us. If we don't have that pure Guru who has that confidence in the spiritual reality, you can never get that confidence yourself. You understand? Many times I'm speaking different things to devotees who I know haven't had the association of a pure devotee, and they don't actually believe the words are really true at heart. It's like trying to tell someone about a ghost who's never seen a ghost. But someone who's seen a ghost knows that a ghost exists, and they will tell you about the ghostly world, etc., because they have seen it. But someone who is just reading it and doesn't understand it, then they can't get the full appreciation of it. So just hearing these topics, but if we haven't been fortunate to have been with a Sadguru who can give these topics into the heart, then our confidence won't be so strong. We won't really believe it. It'll just be like words on the page, not a reality. I can remember so many years ago reading about these topics and just thinking, oh, that is somewhere else. I can't even approach that. But then gradually through time and practice, then we start to develop some familiarity with the topics and an enthusiasm for the topics. This is the principal ingredient, this enthusiasm for the topic, this greed. If some greed is there to understand these things, then they will be understood ultimately. Intelligence, desires pertaining to the mind, intelligence, and false ego. Nothing has the power to remove this lust easily. It can only be dispelled by the continuous cultivation of endeavors and moods in pursuit of Braj Leela. In this Siddhanta, you will see the miraculous feature of the Sringara Ras of Vrindavan Leela. You will also realize that although Nirvishesh Brahm is characterized by self-satisfaction at Marama, this Aprakat Sringara Ras considers it quite insignificant and throws it very far away. We see that verse, what's that? Kleshagni Shubhada, Moksha Lukhuta Krit. That the symptom of liberation is to see, or the symptom of bhav rather, is to see liberation as completely insignificant. Liberation is not our objective. Our objective isn't to be liberated. Our objective is to render this Nitya Seva to the Supreme Lord. That is our objective. Particularly Sri Radhika and her maidservants, her manjaris. That's all our line. All our line are manjaris. So to connect to these transcendental personalities in our Guru Varga is our ultimate goal, totally. Vrindavan Leela. You will also realize that although Nirvishesh Brahm is characterized by self-satisfaction at Marama, this Aprakat Sringara Ras considers it quite insignificant and throws it very far away, reigning splendidly for all time. Moreover, this Sringara Ras externally exists with a brilliance that fully and perfectly diminishes the value of the opulence of the transcendental Vaikuntha world in the spiritual sky. So this Sringara Ras ultimately is so much higher than Vaikuntha. It's so much higher than Mathura or Dwarka or any of these other realms. This world of affection and unlimited love for the Lord. And the Lord, as Brajendranandan Shyam Sundar, he is hungry for this love himself. And he is Mugdata. He is not knowing that he's the Supreme. And he's Sarvagyan. He knows he's the Supreme at the same time. So this mood of who is Brajendranandan? So this is what we're trying to appreciate more and more coming into this Braj Leela. What is the nature? Who is this personality? What are the natures of all these relationships that we're hearing about? These splendid relationships. The glories of Sringara Ras are unsurpassed. There is Sandra Ananda, highly condensed bliss in this Ras. I've explained before this word, Sandra Ananda. It means that nothing else can enter except bliss. Sandra Ananda. Nothing else can get in except bliss. But there is no dry pleasure, Shuksh Ananda, no happiness derived from inert matter, Jad Anand, and not even limited happiness, Sankuchitanand. It is the embodiment of complete Anand, and in order to achieve the completion of rasa in this Purnanand, in many instances the unlimited varieties of bhav are inflicted with mutually opposite bhavs. So this is the topic that Goswami is explaining. Why are these opposite bhavs apparently there in the spiritual world? These mutually opposite bhavs. Because nothing can be omitted from the spiritual world. Krishna has a front side and Krishna has a back side. Krishna has everything. Everything is there. So all of these different emotions sometimes are inspired by the negative aspect of that emotion. It will inspire the positive emotion. However, the bhavs of the aprakrit ras are not base and full of defects like mundane emotions such as enmity. We can say envy also is another word. They are simply varieties of fascinating transformations of Paramananda. They surge up like waves which excite the ocean of rasa. So these 2 pages are very, very powerful to read again and again to appreciate more deeply. Sri Rupa Goswami's conclusion is that bhav is possessed of wonderful variegatedness. The various bhavs that are completely compatible with each other are in relation to swapaksh. Bhavs that are mostly compatible and only slightly incompatible are in relation to surit paksh. Now he's describing the 4 different categories of paksh. When the incompatible bhavs predominate and there are very few compatible bhavs, those bhavs are called tatashta. And when all the bhavs are completely incompatible, those groups of bhavs are in relation to vipaksh. Another point is that when these bhavs are incompatible, they are not usually pleasing. That is why they give rise to enmity and similar sentiments in this Paramananda Ras. So it's a very deep description of the reasons why there are these incompatible bhavs within the world of Vrindavan Leela to enhance the speciality of the swapaksh in contrast to the vipaksh. For example, Chandravali is Tadatmika. She's Dakshin. She is always compliant to whatever Krishna wants. Whereas Sri Radhika is very much Bhamyabhav, very much bold. So Krishna has a great relish from this. He also will relish something of that Dakshin Bhav. But when these two Bhavs are present, it increases both of them. The Dakshin Bhav will be highlighted, will be more accentuated, and the Bhamya Bhav will be more accentuated. So again, it's these contrasting bhavs, incompatible bhavs, are simply highlighting the original bhavs. Everything is being beautifully increased by this competitive mood. Understand? Something. Vijay, what is the necessity for Paksha and Vipaksh bhavs? So, Goswami, when the bhavs of two nayakas are equal, the bhav rivalry occurs, and consequently the moods of friendship and hostility perform their activities as transformations of rasa. These are transformations of rasa because of these contrasting bhavs. The transformation of rasa. You should understand that this is also only to enrich the supreme sweetness of the Akhand Shringara Ras. So this is an explanation to try and understand why these contrasting bhavs are there. We have Radhika manifests all her Kaya Vyuha. That's all the billions of gopis. That's the Swapaksh, the Surit, the Tashna, and the Vipaksh. And they all have their different moods. And they're all contrasting with each other to enhance the Shringara Rasa ultimately. So when we view it from a distant perspective, we can see sometimes that seems to be negative, and sometimes this is positive. But if you're viewing it from a logician's point of view, which was what the question was about, that dry logicians, they will see these same, they will read about these same distinctions, and they will find fault in them, thinking that like they apply in this world, but they're missing the vital ingredient, which is the distinction of the spiritual world, which doesn't have a single particle or smell of envy or enmity. So this is not so easy for us to appreciate, but we can pray for that mercy to appreciate it. And then our Guru Varga will bless us. So what is the necessity for Paksha and Vipaksh bhavs? Oh, I've just read that, yes. Vijay, Srimati Radha and Chandravali equal from the point of view of Tattva? Goswami, no. Only Srimati Radhika, who is composed entirely of Mahabhav, is the essence of Pladini. Radhika is the source. Everything is emanating from Radhika. Chandravali is her Kaya Vyuha. Chandravali is her Kaya Vyuha, her bodily expansion, and is unlimitedly less qualified than Srimati Radhika, because she's coming from Sri Radhika. Nevertheless, in Shringara Ras, Chandravali has a mood of equality with Radha. She has to have that equality so that there can be rivalry. If there's no equality, then how can there really be rivalry? If one is very much inferior to the other, then there's no rivalry. Understand? So it appears many times that Chandravali is so beautiful, so amazing, etc. She's able to distract Krishna from coming to Radha. She has so much potency in that respect. But this is just to enhance the overall moods of the gopis and their relationships. Only Srimati Radhika, who is composed entirely of Mahabhav, is the essence of Pladini. Chandravali is her Kaya Vyuha, bodily expansion, and is unlimitedly less qualified than Srimati Radhika. Nevertheless, in Shringara Ras, Chandravali has a mood of equality with Radha, so that a rivalry emerges to nourish the Prem Ras. Again, consider this. The bhav of these two Yuteshwaris cannot be completely compatible. It wouldn't be possible. It's like even we see when Krishna is with Radhika, if the bhavs are the same, then there's no rasa. If Radhika is, for example, Swadhinat Bhartika, if she's the controlling heroine, then Krishna is Dakshin Bhav, he's submissive. If Krishna starts to be Dhirlalit and very controlling, then the rasa will finish. There must be this mood. This is what Rupa Goswami is explaining to us. He's trying to give us a picture of the emotional states of the gopis, the Braja gopis. These are their emotions. We hear so many different pastimes of the gopis, but this is expressly expressing the emotions between the gopis. Nevertheless, in Shringara Ras, Chandravali has a mood of equality with Radha, so that a rivalry emerges to nourish the Prem Ras. Again, consider this. The bhav of these two Yateshwaris cannot be completely compatible. If somehow or other it seems to be so, it is simply a coincidence. And it's such a coincidence that Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives us a very extreme example of this coincidence. Just as the shape eaten by a bookworm out of the pages of a book might accidentally resemble a letter of the alphabet. That's completely by accident. There's nothing preordained by that. So if these bhavs do appear to be compatible, it's completely by accident. Understand? So much extreme. Actually, the Swapaksh and Vipaksh bhavs of Ras occur naturally. This is their natural moods. Prabhu, you have dispelled whatever small doubts I had. Your sweet instructions have entered my heart through the path of my ears. They are destroying all my bitterness. I have fully understood Alamban, the object of the abode of rasa, in regard to the vibhav of Madhurya Ras. Satchidananda Krishna is the one and only Nayaka, and I am meditating upon his qualities, form and activities. He has the temperaments of Dhirodata, Dhirolalit, Dhirashantaha and Dhirodata, and he eternally performs his Leela as a Nayak in the roles of Pati and Upapati. As a lover, he is Anukul, faithful, Dakshin, sincere, Sata, cheating, Shata, cheating, and Drista, reckless and bold. He is always served by friends who arrange his meetings, Chetaka, dress him, Vita, and make jokes, Vidusaka, and by his Masurs, Pita Mardaka, and his most intimate friends, Priyanam Sakas. He is fond of playing on the Vamsi. Today Krishna has appeared in my heart as the Vishaya of Ras. So really that last paragraph was like a summary of the understanding or appreciation that Vijay Kumar has had to this point. He's expressing his appreciation here. At the same time, I have also understood how the beautiful young women of Braj are the ashraya of Madhurya Ras. So we've gone from the Vishaya, Krishna, now the ashraya of Madhurya Ras. These gopis are nayikas. Nayikas are divided into two types, Swakiya and Parakiya. In Braj, the Parakiya nayikas are the ashraya of Shringara Ras, and they are of three types, Sadhana Para Devi and Nitya Priya. Sadhana Para, Devi and Nitya Priya. The attractive damsels of Braj divide into groups in which they serve Krishna, and millions of lovely Braja Gopis are subordinate to one of the many Yuteshwaris. Among all the Yuteshwaris, Sri Radha and Sri Chandravali are prominent. In Sri Radha's Yut, there are 5 kinds of Saki, namely Saki, Nitya Saki, Pran Saki, Priya Saki, and Paramapresta Saki. Although the Paramapresta Sakis, who are also known as Astasakis, are qualified to be Yuteshwaris, they do not create separate Yuts because they desire to remain the followers of Sri Radha. The Sakis under their guidance are collectively called their Gan, for instance Lalita Gan, Vishaka Gan, and so on. Naikas are divided into 3 groups, Mukta, Madhya, and Pragalda. And of these, the Madhya and Pragalda are each divided into 3 further categories, Dhira, Adhira, and Dhira Dhira. So I think we should just finish this chapter. These 6 categories plus Mukta make 7 categories in all, which are divided into 2 types, Swakiya and Parakiya. To make 14 types in all. The category of unmarried Nayika, Kanya, is added to these 14 to make a total of 15 categories of Nayika. These 15 types of Nayika have the 8 avashta conditions or situations. No other. Okay. Thank you. Category of unmarried Nayika. These 15 types of Nayika have 8 avashta conditions or situations, beginning with abhisarika and so on. And all these categories are divided again into Uttam, Madhyam, and Kanishta to make a sum total of 360, which is 15 times 8 times 3 types of Nayika. The distinct types of behavior, Vyavaharik, of the Yuteshwaris, such as Surit, as well as their purposes, Tatparya, have awakened within my heart. I have also understood that the duties of the Sakis and the messengers' duties. Now that I have learned all these topics, I have an understanding of the Ashraya Tattva of Ras. So this is the summary of the Ashraya. I have also understand Alamban Tattva, which is included within the subject of Vibhav. And tomorrow I will learn about Udipan. Krishna has shown me unlimited kindness by giving me the association of a Sadguru like yourself. I am taking my nourishment by drinking the liquid nectar flowing from your lotus mouth. Sri Gopal Guru Goswami embraced Vijay and said, "My dear son, I have also become successful by attaining a disciple like you. As you make more inquiries, Sri Nityananda Prabhu is personally replying to those questions through my mouth." Tears of praying began to cascade from his eyes of both Guru and Shishya. When the Mahatmas, such as Jaina Chandra, witnessed Vijay's immense fortune, they became immersed in Paramananda. Just then, some Shuddha Vaishnavas arrived outside Radhakant Mat and began to sing some shlokas composed by Chandidas. So we'll sing these tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll begin our reading by chanting this beautiful prayer. But you can all read the prayer yourselves. So this is the, thank you. This is the end of this chapter. So this is a very powerful chapter and really needs to be, the feeling I have personally after hearing this chapter is I just want to read it again and again and again. That's how I feel. There are just so many, some of the truths I captured easily and other truths I really have to go into. So perhaps if you have similar feelings, if it's an inspiration to read again and again, then this will only be to our greater fortune and advantage. So this is an incredible chapter. And I love the way that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he summarizes at the end the complete chapter actually, what is the Vishaya Tattva and what is the Ashraya Tattva. and he encapsulates it very clearly. So many, many details, many incredible truths in this chapter. So we continue tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll sing this Saisaki Kabe Sunalaya Shamanam. We'll sing tomorrow. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Ananta Koda Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Rasa Tattva ki jai, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Huh? I know, it's amazing, incredible. I'm just amazed at it. I just want to read it more slowly. But actually it's a kind of a solitary thing to read. When you're reading it publicly, it's different. If you're with a small group and studying it, then it's very accessible. We're reading it with a large group. But the idea is to get an idea, to make some structure, to make some enthusiasm towards the topic. So tomorrow we'll continue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Go bring Nandi, Hari Hari Bol. Rasa Tattva ki jai.